Imagine seeing an image. Could be a kid's drawing, maybe a photo you took, or even just something you dreamt up, and then instantly being able to step into it. Play around, interact. That sounds like science fiction, right? But maybe not anymore. Today, we're doing a deep dive into Google DeepMind's Genie model. It's being called the first foundation world model, quite a mouthful. But what it means is it can generate playable, controllable worlds just from a single image prompt. No complex coding, just your imagination.
Yeah, exactly. And our mission here for this deep dive is really to unpack this shift. How does Genie actually learn to build these interactive realities? And maybe more importantly, what are the implications for AI, for virtual worlds, even for how we create things in the future? Because this really does go beyond just, making simple games. It feels like a pretty critical step towards more general AI agents and totally new kinds of digital stuff.
Okay, let's break that down a bit. We've all seen AI getting incredibly good at generating images, text, even videos now. But Genie feels different, right? A real leap. It's moving from just passive content, stuff you look at, to these generative interactive environments. You're not just watching, you're actually doing something inside them.
Mm-hmm. And that's the key. What's really fascinating, I think, is how Genie aims to democratize creation. The idea is anyone can dream up, create, and step into generated worlds. Just think about it. You take a sketch, maybe something, your kid drew, totally fantastical.
Right.
And you could potentially upload that sketch and just jump in and play. Yeah. Or use a real photo. Or even just type a description like, I don't know, a spooky forest at midnight with glowing mushrooms.
Yeah.
It separates the look of the world from its underlying mechanics, how it actually works.
Okay, so they're calling it a foundation world model. What does that term actually mean for us? What makes it foundational?
Well, it's like other foundation models you might have heard about, like for language or images. It's trained on absolutely massive amounts of general data. In Genie's case, it's hundreds of thousands of hours of just unlabeled internet videos. Videos of games being played, mostly 2D platformers for now. So it learns the sort of fundamental rules of how these worlds tend to operate. How characters move, how they jump, interact with things.
Oh, okay.
And it can then apply those learned rules, those dynamics, to basically any visual style you give it from an image. It builds an internal predictive understanding of how things behave.
Now, this is the part that really blew my mind. How does it learn to let you control things? How does it know what jump or move left means if it's only watching unlabeled videos? They're not telling it what the actions are, right?
Exactly. That's the absolute core innovation here. It's something called the latent action model. From just watching all that video passively, it figures out a set of distinct, controllable actions without being told what those actions are. No labels needed. It essentially identifies the key change or the causal delta between one frame and the next. What action likely caused that change?
Wow.
So it learns these fundamental actions just by observation. Then when you play, your button press, your input, just gets mapped to one of those learned latent actions. And then another part, the dynamics model, takes that action and predicts, okay, what should the next frame look like? And it generates it. This unsupervised way of discovering causality is really powerful.
That's incredible. So it's discovering actions on its own. Does that mean, though, it might sometimes learn actions that feel a bit weird to a human player? Or maybe generate mechanics that are unexpected, maybe even broken?
That's a really good point. And yes, that can happen. Aligning those learned actions perfectly with human intuition is definitely still, an active research area. The model can sometimes hallucinate actions or create slightly strange behaviors, especially at this early stage. It's all part of the learning and refinement process.
Okay, so zooming out a bit, what does this mean for the bigger picture of AI? Are these interactive worlds kind of living inside a giant LLM, a large language model? Is it all connected like that?
That's a really important distinction to make. World models, like Genie and LLMs, are fundamentally different beasts. A world model, its core job is to understand and simulate dynamics and causality, predicting future states based on actions. Its output isn't text. It's the next state of the environment, the next frame.
Okay.
An LLM, on the other hand, is all about understanding and generating language and semantic concepts. Its output is text. Think of it like this. Genie learns an intuitive feel for physics by watching things happen. It knows things fall because it's seen them fall millions of times.
Right, it's observed it.
Exactly. An LLM can describe gravity perfectly in words, but it can't inherently simulate it in a dynamic environment. They're complementary tools, not the same thing.
So if they're complementary, what does that future look like? How do they work together?
Well, we kind of envision this future society of models, where different AIs play to their strengths. World models like Genie could act as let's say, the physics engine for AI-generated virtual worlds. They create the environment and its rules.
Mm-hmm.
Then an LLM could be the brains or the director. It could populate Genie's world with NPCs that talk and behave dynamically, or it could interpret a high-level request like, create a fun obstacle course in this image and tell Genie what to build.
And the even bigger picture, why is developing these world models so crucial for AI's progress overall?
Yeah, perhaps the most profound potential here is for training generalist AI agents. Robots, basically. Genie offers what the researchers call a never-ending curriculum of new generated worlds. Training AI, especially robots, in the real world is slow, it's expensive, things break. But this sim-to-real approach lets you train an agent across millions, potentially billions, of very generated environments inside Genie first. They can learn really robust general skills much faster and safer. Then, you transfer that learned knowledge to a physical robot. Of course, we need to be clear, it's early days.
Right.
The current Genie model runs at like 1 frame per second. Memory is limited. It still has those occasional weird hallucinations we talked about, but the fundamental potential is undeniable.
So what Genie really represents is this fundamental shift, isn't it? AI isn't just learning to describe our world anymore. It's learning to actually model it. And maybe even learning how to act within it. It really makes you think. What kind of interactive world would you create if all it took was a quick sketch or snapping a photo to put it instantly to life?